BC. Happy Sunday, everybody. The day after Record Store Day. I'm actually on here doing the 1500 series. Uh, Came about by Steven in the bass clef. This one here is a monumental one. When you see everything behind me is Sonny Rollins. This was going to be Sonny Rollins, A Night at the Village Vanguard. A staple of live recording. A staple. This one right here was set in two different trios. Recorded in 57, released in 58. The Village Vanguard in New York. Masterpiece at its fullest. The album now, I want to say, is 65 years old. 65 or 66 years old. And, this here just reigns, as far as Sonny. This one solidifies Sonny as one of the greatest saxophone players to ever play the instrument. He's one of the greats. Being inspired by Charlie Parker and even influencing guys even like John Coltrane. This right here is an important monument of jazz and live recording. This one right here, I'm going to read off everybody that's on here. Wilbur Ware, which Sonny met in Chicago while touring. He grabbed Wilbur Ware, so when he was getting ready to record this at the Village Vanguard. And he also got Elvin Jones. And there's only one track on here that has the other two, the bass and drums. That's A Night in Tunisia, Dizzy Gillespie staple. Everybody knows that. His version is one of the best I've ever heard. This one has Donald Bailey and Pete LaRocca, a young Pete LaRocca. When Sonny was recording this album, he was very intent on wanting to make this live recording perfect. He went through so many different, people that he tried out for the position, playing, the drums and the bass. So he ended up firing a lot of them, but he settled on Wilbur Ware and Elvin Jones, a young Elvin Jones, which is the brother of Thad Jones and Hank Jones, which everybody knows Elvin Jones went on to be his own. He'd been a monster playing with John Coltrane's quintet. Man, you're talking about, masterful stuff here. The opening track here, once Sonny got everything settled, he went out there. It was more of an intimate. He had a nice little crowd. In 1999, they released, if you're able to find the CD, they released a complete show in 1999 on CD. It's the Blue Note. It's the complete A Night at the Village Vanguard. The Village Vanguard opened up the whole door as far as the live recordings to, of course, the Bill Evans, which came after, and also John Coltrane. This album influenced eons and eons of people out there. That Joshua Redman, which is the son of Dewey Redman, he influenced him, a pianolist. This was a pianolist trio. And then also Branford Marsalis is another one he influenced too. This album is core. Like, this is like anybody that likes hard bop and melodic, Sonny at his most fiery playing, this one is the one to go. This is the one to go with. This is definitely a masterpiece. And live, it puts you in that room. You hear the people, you hear all the drinks, the champagne bottles. You can hear all that, and the ambiance is just beautiful. I mean, man, you talking about a central piece here. But he opens up with Old Devil Moon, which was a Burton Lane. And I think the name of the other person that composed that, it was Burton Lane and E.Y. Humberg. But Old Devil Moon was pretty much a staple from, people like Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra even covered that on Swinging with Lovers. He opens up with that. It just gets everybody relaxed because it's going to show how it brings jazz to a brighter spectrum of all the people that's learning about jazz and how the art form is just exposed. Softly as a Sunrise is one of my favorite. Talking about the drumming of Elvin Jones. This is almost like a jam session, the playing wise, but they so in sync. That trio is just so in sync. And then Striver's Roll, that's another killer right here. Striver's Roll is another one. I mean, you just could tell how great they played together. And you know, you see that how they intertwine the move. You could just hear all of the people walking around, people just so into it. And you could tell Sonny announces himself, you know, he announces the Softly as a Sunrise when it comes on. And then another Sonny staple, my favorite, Sunny Moon for Two. Oh man, you talking about jamming. These guys just interact back and forth, back and forth. I mean, they just, Sonny's melodic sense. He was one of the young saxophones during that period. And he just was above everybody that was out during that time. His you know, you had to Hank Mobley and all of them, but this guy was so raw, and his delivery of his playing, this is like made him iconic. He already did the, you know, Saxophone Colossus, which is over there, and you know, the Volume 1 and Volume 2, and you knew Sonny was gonna have great things to come. He was like the standard. He was setting the bar so high. And then you go into Night in Tunisia. He switches off from the trio he had was Wilbur Ware and Elvin Jones. He switches off and go with the Donald Bailey and Pete LaRocca on drums, and that's pretty much it's only on that one track. And man, it's like he turned the song around and turned it on his edge. The way the Pete LaRocca was a young drummer that, you know, Sonny discovered when he was doing the scenes up in New York. He noticed his playing was almost like a conga playing. He was just a smoker, man. And that song is just like on his side axis, man. A Night in Tunisia. And then the closing ballad, I Can't Get Started. Oh man, you could tell that this ending was gonna be monstrous. And and this was only 6 tracks they released. After this, when they finally released the full show, because there's a morning set and an afternoon set. Whenever they, you know, you knew that Sonny has arrived. This is before the bridge and all of that stuff, but Sonny was so intense, man. His keen playing has just made him one of the greats. But yeah, 1581, Sonny, A Night at the Village Vanguard. And the final track, I Can't Get Started, was a Gershwin, Duke and Gershwin composition. Steven in the bass clef, man. This is great. Love these 1500 series that's been rolling out, man. Everybody's been aboard, man, doing a lot of these. I'm hoping everybody out there is really digging these 1500 series. But yeah, it's been fun. I've been watching a lot of the videos, and it's been a lot of great titles. A lot of the 1500 series that I wasn't aware of, that I didn't have in my collection. But this copy here, this is a 1966. This is a Liberty. This is when everything was sold at Liberty. But it has the RBG stamp, New York, USA label. Beautiful copy. I never was able to find an original, but I know, you know, the originals now go for so much. But yeah, 1581, BC, guys. Sonny Rollins.